It's Tuesday, May 30th, 2023. Let's talk about the news. From the New York Times, with debt limit deal in hand, McCarthy and Biden turn to task of selling it. Following months of concern and anticipation, U.S. President Biden and House Speaker McCarthy have arrived at a deal in principle regarding the raising of the nation's debt ceiling. And though both leaders are publicly optimistic about their chances of selling their own parties and constituents on the deal before a projected June 5th deadline, at which point the U.S. can no longer pay its debts with the money that has been officially allocated for such purposes, there are still simmering concerns that more radical members of both parties could cause further delays. Such delays this close to the debt deadline could have devastating and long-term implications for the country, ranging from a credit rating decrease to public servants and/or folks on Social Security not receiving their payments. But neither side got everything they wanted from these negotiations, and the marching orders that have been leaked to the press, provided to members of both parties, suggest just how concerned everyone involved is about seeming like they gave up too much to strike a deal. Something that has many outside analysts scratching their heads, as this antique component of American debt handling was never meant to be a point of negotiation in the first place. All that said, we should know in the next few days, first, if any of the involved groups will be opposing the deal, and if so, if they have enough people on side to actually threaten its passing, and second, the specifics of the deal, which are still being released and processed by those of us who were not involved in the negotiations. From The Guardian, Turkish lira plunges as Erdogan claims mandate to continue divisive rule. Turkish President Erdogan has recommitted to his, let's say, unconventional approach to economics, following a weekend election victory that netted him 5 more years in office. Alongside allegations of authoritarian power hoarding and dominance of the press that may have contributed to his recent win, Erdogan's insistence that lowering interest rates will eventually help moderate inflation rates, the opposite of what essentially every economist on the planet will tell you and what every other country is doing right now, will apparently continue to guide the country's economic policy. The country's currency, the lira, collapsed in value on the news of his victory, and investment bank Morgan Stanley has predicted that it will fall still further this year. And from Ars Technica, 48 states sue phone company that allegedly catered to needs of robocallers. Almost every U.S. state and Washington, D.C. have sued an Arizona-based telecom company called Avid Telecom, alongside its CEO and VP of Operations, for allegedly, enthusiastically, and knowingly empowering robocall scammers, despite repeated warnings from the FCC. This lawsuit is meant to put the company and its leaders on trial, while also forcing it to cease operations, which apparently includes providing services that allow scammers to make it seem like their calls are coming from other numbers, including those of companies and government and law enforcement agencies. Alongside those number-spoofing services, Avid also allows its customers to place high volumes of calls in rapid succession and bills only for the duration of the call, which makes it a lot more cost-effective to run these sorts of spray and pray large-scale scamming efforts. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com, and you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.